another edition of The Breakdown. I go by the name of Ak.
And I'm Barak, the boxing bully.
In Mulvane, Kansas, close to Wichita. We had some fights tonight.
Wait, no one knows Mulvane or Wichita, so it doesn't matter where it's close to.
People know Wichita, man. Wichita State has a great basketball team. Nevertheless, there was boxing in town in the Kansas Star Casino. I want to start off breaking down the Rosado fight. Coming into the show, we knew that this had potential of being an entertaining fight. Rosado, Cuba Arias is a tough fight. He throws a lot of hard shots. Though his last performance wasn't great, we knew that there was potential for a great fight.
I think his last performance, he fought a great fighter.
All right.
You understand? I think we got what we wanted. We wanted some competition. We wanted a fight that a lot of people thought was 50-50. I think Arias came there. He was the aggressor first. He won the beginning rounds, maybe the first 3 rounds. And then it seemed like Rosado kind of found his distance.
Right.
And he was starting to let his hands go a little bit more.
And we were a little critical of Rosado's, I guess, game plan early because we really didn't know. We actually had a chance to talk to him after the fight and he was trying to get his distance, you know, get to range so he could land harder shots. And he actually executed that down the stretch late on in the fight.
Right.
I think it was the 9th round. He hurt him with a right hand, also an uppercut. He had him in the ropes. He was hurt.
I do know that he did say the game plan was to tap, 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 and wait for an opening to really let his hands go.
Right.
And to preserve himself, he said, listen, I got 2 kids.
Right.
I want to go home pretty.
Well, yeah, he said that he doesn't get enough credit for being a good boxer. He's from Philly. He has boxing skill, and I guess towards the end of his career, he wants to show that he can do that. It was a close fight. Some of the rounds were hard to score. I really gave Rosado the fight. I thought he pulled away towards the end, and I gave him 7 rounds to 5, and they called it a draw. It was a split draw. I didn't agree with the decision, but when there are close rounds like that and the fight goes another way or it's a draw, you can't get completely mad or upset.
I think he kind of flipped the script from being the guy that's always cut and bleeding to the guy who's clean-faced and the other guy's bleeding.
And for the first fight on the main broadcast, Rios, Brandon Bang Bang Rios goes up against Canelo's older brother, Ramon Alvarez. Now, anytime Rios is in a ring, you know there's going to be blood. You know there's going to be no head movement. You know there's going to be a lot of hard bombs thrown. And that's what we got tonight with Brandon Rios and Alvarez.
I guess that's the fight of the night. You know, we finally got a chance to see Ramon, you know, see his skill set. I think he's a very skillful guy. He just wasn't displaying defense. Right. And I think that's what played the part in his demise.
Well, yeah, strength, right? Somebody that's in better condition is always going to come out on top in that type of fight. Now, Ramon showed actually more speed than Rios. He was landing crisp shots, but most of the fight he was on the ropes. His back against the ropes. At times he showed defense, right? He would move his head. He'll show, you know, he'll roll with some of the punches. And then at times he'll sit right in the pocket and just catch right hands and left hooks. But then he'll counter back. So that's what made the fight exciting. So a guy like that, you look at him, get hit with a big shot, and you're like, all right, this fight is over. And then he comes back with 2, 3, 4, 5 punches. Rios doesn't have the best defense in the world. So it was an exciting fight for fight fans.
You got the bigger guy, with a naturally bigger guy in Alvarez, who couldn't come in at 147, so he came there at 151, and he was overpowered by the smaller guy.
And speaking of weight and coming in, he was still ripped up. I mean, I don't know what is it with the Alvarez family. Those guys
genetics are beautiful.
In shape. Right. I mean, not an ounce of fat on him. So he looked like he was in shape. But down the stretch, he got hit with too many big shots.
Right. I think the referee did a good job because in the 8th round, he got clocked.
Yeah, he was hurt.
He looked like he was dazed like he was out for a second, came back.
Yeah, if there was 10 seconds left in that 8th round, the fight would have been over. So coming into the 9th, I mean, you couldn't expect much from Alvarez.
Good job by the ref.
Huge shots, and I mean, it was good to see Rios win. And this is not exactly his hometown, but he's from Kansas City. So he had a big win coming off that loss against Garcia.
But the next step is, let's see where he fares with the real 147 pounds.
Right, once he makes that weight. He has a tough road ahead of him. Great welterweights out there. Good win for Brandon Rios.
Nonetheless.
For the hometown hero, bronze Olympic medalist, Nico Hernandez, for his 6th fight, had a real test in front of him. A kid that can fight, had defense, footwork, good counter punching. You know, after the first 2 rounds, I looked at you, I said, Barak, you know, I think this fight is going to go the distance. This kid right here can actually box. Somewhat of a showcase fight. this is really his hometown. He wanted to perform for the fans. So he didn't get the knockout he was looking for. He told us early in the week that he wanted to be the first guy to stop this young man. But I guess I knew after a couple rounds it wasn't going to happen.
Being that we're fighting in like remote cities where boxing is not oversaturated, as Hearn says, we're getting guys who are not necessarily the headliners, but they are the headliners. They might fighting in the second or the third fight, but they're the headliners because they're bringing most of the crowd. And that's what happened with Nico. And it was just refreshing to see a young guy like that, 22 years old, you know, skillful in the ring. He looked like he was very smart. But that's the thing. When you overestimate somebody coming in with 7 losses, you think you're going to get him out of there quickly, and then you realize this guy can fight.
Kind of glad that he fought a guy that can box, that was decent.
Absolutely.
He went full 8 rounds. So it's just preparing him for the bigger days ahead. 2-time Olympic gold medalist and already a 3-time world champion. Claressa Shields dominates the fight against Rankin, and she gets another strap. I think Rankin was a lot tougher than Claressa anticipated. She even said it in the post-fight interview that she gives her a lot of respect. She was tough. She couldn't put her out of there, but she dominated every single round.
Right. I think she wasn't necessarily tough in skill, but she was tough with her chin, you know, so to speak. So I think it was a mean scrap for that green strap. And she came and did what she had to do. She dominated every single round. She kind of punished the girl. You know,
that's a mean rap. so in any case,
you just finished my balls.
Well, look, man, you know, you can't knock everybody out, especially when you step up in class. And Claressa landed big right hand. She landed a ton of body shots. She loves to fight, that woman. I mean, even in the later rounds, she really wants to put a hurt on her opponent. Claressa is a hell of a fighter, it's no secret. She's up for the test. I mean, she's already a multi-world champion. She says she can make 154. She feels like she can come down one more weight class. And I think she'd probably be at her best at 154 in my opinion. Yes.
Well, I heard her say today that her legs felt good. She didn't get tired. So maybe coming down in weight did help. But what everybody wants is that hammer.
Right.
We want to see that hammer.
If I had to pick somebody right now, I got Claressa winning that fight.
100%.
Now to one of the most popping weight classes in boxing, the heavyweight division.
It's been a long time since we could say that.
The era is here. Now, Big Baby obviously coming into this fight as a heavy favorite, fighting a guy.
When you mean heavy, you mean like 315 pounds heavy or odds heavy? Which
one? Both.
Okay,
both.
Cool.
And he's fighting a guy that nobody knows much about, but apparently he's Anthony Joshua's sparring partner at one point. So though he hasn't fought big names, he was undefeated, and he's obviously been in the ring and sparring with one of the best, if not the best heavyweight in the world. So he had success early in that fight. He was landing the jab. He actually showed good skill, frustrated Big Baby at times, but I feel like Big Baby's body attack early paid dividends and only went 4 rounds. I think Dino gassed out after the second round. You started to see him breathing hard, mouth open. Big Baby was able to land body shots that paid off at the end.
Well, you just explained the whole fight, so I'm just going to say, okay.
So
I think this is just another one of those cases where surprise attack. But you could look at it 2 ways. You could look at it, well, this guy came in, underestimated, and jabbed the hell out of Big Baby until Big Baby stopped him. Or you could say that was Big Baby's plan. I'm going to make this guy gas out because even though I'm 315 pounds, I could go 12 rounds.
I wanted him to land a bigger shot upstairs early in the fight, but I guess his game plan worked. He executed. I mean, he landed a big left hook, I believe it was the first shot that dropped him on the 4th round. To finish the fight, it was a big overhand right.
Absolutely, that right hand, a couple uppercuts in there.
And I don't want to hear people say that, oh, Big Baby struggled with a nobody. Just because you don't know Dino doesn't mean he isn't a good fighter. He actually showed me a lot of skills. Like there's a lot of heavyweights out there that are more known that are not as skilled as this guy as Dino. So he showed a lot of skill. He was good. So Big Baby did what he had to do. At the end of the day, he got him out of there in 4 rounds. He's proven himself every time, and I think he's ready for that big fight. That's it for Barak here from Mulvane, Kansas, and you'll see us next in New York City
for the breakdown
with Canelo Alvarez versus Rocky Fielding. We're out of here.